Hey, light beings. I know I said I wasn't going to go live until New Year's, until the end of the year, I mean. But this message is too critical for me to pass up. Hey, good morning, Gap Talk Media. Well, good afternoon, I should say. But I wanted to go over prosperity because deep inside of me, it's speaking to me that I need to make my people aware. Just make them aware of what is really going on, why we endure what we endure, and how to overcome it. Because we got to remember that when our people were taken into captivity, there were certain things done to us to prevent us from using our natural abilities of fighting back. So, we have to remember ourselves and regain back that power, that part of us that we've been cut off from. And that, my family, is our spiritual, supernatural capabilities. We are a being that live in two worlds. We can survive in two worlds quite easily. The two worlds I'm speaking of is that we're maintaining at the same time is the spiritual world and the physical. We have been made to believe that the spiritual world is something that is far from us and that is not tangible or not real. So, what we don't, because we've been so dumbed down, we don't see that the spiritual world is right in front of us every day. Everything that goes on, everything that happens is spiritual, is energy. It takes energy to make those things, put things in motion. So, prosperity. Number one, I'm going to go over some of the definitions of prosperity. But first, I'm going to submit to you, family, that prosperity starts from within, not outside of us. See, we have been doing prosperity from a physical perspective only. We have not taken into context the spiritual side of prosperity, because the beings who are stuck in the physical have had control over our air, our thinking, the mind, so long that they have created a way to cut us off from spirituality, from true spirituality, which is our reality. It's no wonder why at all, because it is our power, it is our strength. Those notifications are getting on my nerves. Hold on, family. I'm going to see if I can cut off this notification. It's just too much. I thought I cut it off. Let me see. I'm going to have to do it like this. That's so annoying. Oh, I'll put on do not disturb. Okay, perfect. I got it. Okay. We're back. Okay. So, because they cut us off from true spirituality and they fed us a Christianity spirituality, and most of our words, our understanding and our words, we've been disconnected from. They have covered over everything with lies, deception. They covered up true meaning of words created by our ancient of ancient ancestors. They've covered up true spirituality. We are in the apocalypse time. Apocalypse is the uncovering of everything. Put a 1 in if you hear me and understand what I'm saying, family. Because this is a very, very important, empowering message for you.
China messed with the cake.
Hold on, family. I'll be back. I'm back. Oh, I'm back. I'm back, family. Hey, Ledford Thomas. Okay, this is a very critical message because apparently we can't even trust our own people to. Some of our people want to hide this understanding as well. I don't know for whatever reason, but they're in the mind frame of the enemy. Because anytime you don't try to separate yourself from the enemy, and whatever the enemy says, and you align with what he says, instead of divide yourself from it and change it for what you know better, because we all got Akashic records within us that become available to us. So, sorry about that, family. I had to check on something to make sure it was still okay. But now let me just go into the definitions of prosperity that they have. Okay. Prosperity is a state. It's a state. It's a state of being. The state of being in itself is spiritual because it's where you at in your existence, basically. It doesn't necessarily have a physical connotation. And they say it's a synonyms. Okay, synonyms of it. Okay, success, profitability, affluence, wealth, opulence, luxury, the good life, milk and honey, quote unquote good fortune, ease, plenty, comfort, security, well-being. These are only a few words, synonyms for prosperity. Fortune, life, ease, plenty, sorry about that. Comfort and well-being and security are all what I consider, and success is all what I consider spiritual. Prosperity is the state of flourishing and thriving. Good fortune or success, social status. Prosperity often encompasses wealth, but also includes illusion factors, what I call illusion factors, which can be independent to varying degrees, such as happiness and health, which wealth is what I'm considering the illusion. But happiness and health all depends upon your natural ability to produce prosperity. See, prosperity is a natural ability. If you don't have that natural ability, as you see some don't have the natural ability to have big boobs, to have younger looking face, or to have a big butt. So what do? They have to go and have that created for them so that it can give them the satisfaction and the inner happiness they need, because they're void of it. They're void of it. If you can't accept your natural abilities, what you have, and you feel like you have to change, then that just means that you don't have that capability within you naturally. Now, I'm not saying that about the black woman who goes out and do this. She goes out and does this because society has so much control over her mind, over, they control our thinking. And it's been in practice it's been like for years now and decades, that they've created a world where we actually think that we're equal. So it's a false sense of not having the capability for black women, because they haven't tapped into this true spirituality of themselves, because we've been cut off from it. So we are thinking in the minds of the physical beings who are stuck only in the physical being existence. Okay, the true meaning, Latin, prosperous, favorable, means favorable. Prosperous means favorable in Latin. That's the original word. And I found it, it also can mean or fortunate. And I think that if you are a carbon being, we're carbon beings. We are carbon beings. And the price of carbon today is $158,144. A pound. So that in itself says that you are very fortunate people, a very prosperous people, favorable people in itself. And this is not pseudoscience, when you can look around you and you can see what people who lack what you have created around you. An illusional, fake, deceptional world. And many of our people have followed down this road. For example, I wanted to talk about B. Smith and Bill Cosby and many, many, many others who unknowingly fell for the wealth trick and gave over their gifts, their presents, for a world of deception to see, a world of deception to view and use. Let that sink in. Because what do we see today? We see our talents using their presence to call women, black women, all kinds of bitches and hoes in music. And we also see in society men who have held back their talents, their prosperity, but yet don't know that they have these capabilities about themselves, because they've been cut off from this true spirituality of themselves, the true God within, that they too hate their women and they love thy enemies. So we see the domino effect, and we see influence, and we see fake prosperity. Because in Bill Cosby and B. Smith situations, it didn't give them what they needed for protection. Protection, justice, love, true cosmos love. And we can see this. It's tangible. We can see it. Hey, Baba Rashan. Welcome. Peace, Elder. And because we can see this, you can't say that I'm not saying anything that I'm talking pseudo. Because I'm not talking pseudo. I only talk pseudo when it works for the enemy. It's pseudo when it works for the enemy. Family. When it works against the enemy. You see, it's considered a racist and pseudo-scientific theory that dark melanin carbon beings are possessed with supernatural powers. But when you scientifically go into it, which I will a little bit, you can see that we have the abilities. We have the abilities. And we need to own it. And we need to stop fighting against it. Because there are people who would say that I'm speaking Luciferian. Okay, let me explain something. Luciferian was stolen concepts from our ancient. Luciferian has nothing to do with a entity that does harm to our people. This entity is you and me. We are the Satans. We are the black. We are the light. Light means knowledge, but when you go back further, you can see that it's connected to solar, to the sun. Knowledge comes from the sun. Today, the weather is so beautiful. The sun is beaming. It's like almost like a summer day after the rain today, here where I'm at. So, the sun gives us the knowledge we need to remember ourselves in the Cosmic records. We have sun within us. We have the solar within us. So when I explain the basics, the Bindu seed, the gastral tract is where we're at as far as the lower chakra. So many think they want to fight against Satan, and this is why the black community is so very poor. This is why that's why we're underneath the feet of the devils, the deceptionists. And we don't even know who our enemies. We don't know. We allow these people to tell us an enemy of theirs, but they are enemies of ours. So basically, their enemy we have taken as our enemies, which is nothing more than ourselves, because we don't know ourselves. We've been many things on this planet, and we haven't stopped being things on this planet. That's why I say the presence is a great gift for us, because it's a great opportunity for us to come into ourselves, rise up, and empower our individual selves to empower the whole. Welcome, Andre Toppin. And we do that by changing our minds and realizing who we are from within. It doesn't come from outside of us. It comes from within us. Because if I dealt with outside of me and that's all I knew, the world is telling me something else physically. Because these people on physical lockdown. They cannot move no further than what we can. We can move far. We can go far places. They get stuck. They're stagnant. So now you understand why they had to cut us off from our spirituality, from our tongue, from the true meaning of things. The most ancient god, dark side, is the study of alchemy, the black. Al, body, black, Kim. Hell is physical realm. It's the physical realm. That's the planet Earth is hell, because it's the physical existence of carbon. The first gland is the pineal gland. The second gland is our pituitary gland, and the third gland is our thalamus gland. Excuse me, family. Okay. Melanin rises up and crystallizes, anointing, which is called the olive oil, carbon beings. So only we can get anointed. I know there's a movie that recently came out that I wanted to speak on also before I get into more of how we can prosper, because this is very critical. Our prospering does not have a date or a time, because we know date, time, and we know that space and time doesn't exist. It's what we make it in our minds. We create. So basically, what I am saying to you is that we don't have to wait for a certain time of year. That's being controlled. We start in our moment, in our present. And our presence is our breathing from the diaphragm. It's just existing. but it's existing in a proper manner that we're supposed to exist as carbon beings. That's exceeding the thought of these people on this planet. By digging and studying to show yourself approved. To get a better understanding without fear, division from your family, the black woman, the black man. Don't let nothing divide you from the black man or the black woman. Nothing. Because emotions are used, is the power. So you take those emotions that cause division and you utilize it in a more winning way for you and the family. And not use it because it's not anything for us to, because we're in the cardinal, it's got us down here feeling different ways. When I told you the story about me and how I dealt with my emotions, I talked to myself a lot. I talked not aloud like I'm crazy, but inner self. Try to rationalize things. I would say that when I was younger, I also would, I was able to see through things that more. Even though the growing mind got in the way many times, the developing mind got in the way a lot of times, I'd say. There was still things that I would do to make those emotions work for me and not against me and my people and harm no one, you know. And that's the beginning of your prosperity. That's the beginning of your prosperity. Because you don't want no harm done to your family, friends, you know, the people amongst us. So, basically, you would start at the bottom chakra with love, with being honest with ourselves, like I said before, and seeing things for what it really is and not the false and falling into the falsehood. It's called going to the God self and questioning things. I always say question everything. Don't just be a believer. Question everything. Sit on it and meditate. Okay, this new movie called Us is a fear-mongering movie. But the person who created this movie is not as knowledgeable about themselves because they grew up, he comes from a whitewashed world. Let's say that. So what do you expect him to create? Because, you know, he's coming from that perspective. And coming from that perspective, they always give us a dark. Of course, we are dark. But they make like the dark is something wrong with the dark. Because the Caucasians fear the dark. They fear the unknown. It should be obvious by now. I'm not saying anything pseudo. I'm saying obvious. So if they fear the dark, you got to question, why am I fearing what they fear when they fear me too? Why am I still dealing in past teachings that got my grandmother, you know, subjugated, and my great grandmother, my great grandfather subjugated or killed at the hands of these people? Why am I still carrying their deception and lies? Why do I believe that there is a devil and a Satan to go against me when I should be the most powerful? Why do I worship a God outside of me that they put in their image? And it has not done my people on this planet any good. Only brought us suffering and disparity. A life of poverty and injustice. You see? So when we think about, we got to be careful about what we put in. I mean, granted, they know we love to have black movies. They know these things. They know that we love to have black directors. But anything they give us in this society, in the world, I should say in the world that it is the way it is, we got to know that it's hell. It's deception. It's covered over. Hell just means covering. The covering of the truth. So it's covering up the truth, because our doppelganger, our double self, the medulla oblongata, is not the one that would harm us. Our medulla oblongata, our doppelganger double self, is one that protects, guides, and teaches us. Because we all have a sun within us. We knew that we were the children of the sun. Our ancient ancestors knew we were the children of the sun. But we don't recognize and wake up and see this. That its solar is within us. And everybody's talking about the planet. The planet doesn't exist. How about this? Maybe we're on the eye. Has anybody ever thought about that? See, that's a notion that would drive Caucasians crazy, because they cannot accept the unknown, or something that is beyond their existence, pretty much. Because their existence has to be a falsehood in order for them to exist. That's why you have women doing fake boobs, fake faces, fake skin tone, fake hair, fake fur, I should say. Because there's nothing real going on inside. When you have nothing real going on inside, you need money, paper money. You need something tangible. And they got us believing that the tangible is more than anything, that it's more real. But with Bill Cosby and B. Smith, they are pure carbon beings being sucked of their energy through their physical success without protection of spiritual success. See, these two beings, these two carbon beings, could very well have spiritual success first, then they could have came easily into their prosperity, their spiritual prosperity and the physical prosperity. Anybody have any questions thus far? Okay. Akashic records for both physical and spiritual connection to the cosmos balance. I know Solomon means the Black King. Sol Ma. Which leads me to think man means king. King means man. And of course the soul is black. The shadow. Hey Grace A. Do you believe in the Bible? Grace A asked me. Grace A, you can't believe in anything that is put into that was covered up by deception by your enemy. So basically, I don't believe anything. I make sure that I know what knowledge I need to know from the Bible, because the Bible is not what it has been submitted to us as. You see, family. The Bible is not anymore because we didn't never need a book. Family. Believe we never need a book. I should say no, that we never need a book. Because this book has us so focused on destruction. That we don't know that we are the ones that have been destroyed. Some of our people don't know that we are not being taught anything in that Bible but our destruction. Now, on the flip side of the Bible, that they would teach us the spirituality, the building up, the rising of ourselves as black men and black women. Now, that's the part of the Bible I know. But the physical connotation of the Bible, I see it. Okay. I'm echoing. Okay. Let me do this. turn this off. Tell me, am I still echoing? Am I still echoing? Because I can't hear myself at all. Okay, hold on. Am I echoing now? Am I echoing now? I think I'm outside. Let's see. That might be the issue.